and welcome to Pock and Rob. In this video, I am going to rank my 25 personal favourite album covers of all time. I'm going to do the video slightly differently because rather than holding up the album or the CD in some cases, I think there's more merit in me squeezing myself to the side of the video and then putting up a full-size picture of the album art. So I've moved into position, and please feel free to pause the video whenever you like so you can actually really appreciate the artwork. And let's kick off with number 25, which I have placed Revolver. Designed by Klaus Voormann. The line drawings are done by him, with collages of pictures of the Beatles, including from their previous couple of albums. There's a couple of pictures in there. And it's kind of their first truly great album cover. Spoiler, it is not going to be the last time the Beatles appear on this list. It is an iconic album cover. It almost didn't make it into my list, but in the end I decided I couldn't not include Revolver. Number 25. Number 24, I've placed Dookie by Green Day. So this is a great piece of cartoon album work, and there's so much going on that you can inspect and dive into on this album cover, all taking place around the mushroom cloud from the dropped bomb. And then, of course, dookie is American slang for excrement. And my favourite little bit is the little monkey in the corner holding said dookie in his hand and a little thought bubble saying, throw. Dookie by Green Day at number 24. At number 23, I just like the artwork of this. It is Reckoning by R.E.M. It's my favourite R.E.M. album cover. It's my favourite R.E.M. album. The kind of snake, or is it a river on the front cover with all of the song titles that are kind of positioned and written onto it. It's just quite evocative of the music within. Reckoning, my number 23. At number 22 is just an album cover I find extremely calming. I love the narrow range of colours and the fade and of the rainbow of colours on it. It's Stage Fright by the band. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing earth-shattering, brilliant design. It's just peaceful, calming, and colourfully beautiful. Stage Fright by the band at number 22. At number 21, another iconic album cover, Nevermind by Nirvana. Genius front cover of an album to take that photograph of the baby swimming underwater naked, but then that dollar on a hook. It's clever satire on the state of American consumerism on the front cover of one of the best albums of the 90s, probably of all time. Nevermind, number 21. Number 20 is a bit of a left field pick, and it's the symbolism that's on the front cover of this album. It's The Visitors by ABBA. At the point this album was released, not only had Bjorn and Agneta divorced, but by that time as well, so had Benny and Frida. So we've got two divorced couples. And if you look carefully, this is kind of like a haunting, like old, stately home kind of setting. And not one of the members of ABBA is looking at any of the other members of ABBA. It's clever design and symbolism, The Visitors, number 20. Number 19, more for the interchangeability of it, I have picked Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin. So if you don't know, the album cover, it's a double, and there are multiple ways that you could display it, because the surround is cut out windows, so you can place in one of at least two different sets of window occupants, but you could also put it in the song titles, and it's a great design. Physical Graffiti, I've placed at number 19. At number 18, Queen 2. An album cover so iconic for the band themselves that they recreated it for the very start of the Bohemian Rhapsody video. The first full-length proper video that was ever kind of produced for the music market. And later on did it again for One Vision video. So that shot of Freddie with his arms like that, and then the other three members in a diamond shape, it's superb. And my favourite Queen album cover, number 18. Number 17, I have placed an album cover that invites you into both the music inside it, but also some of the stories that they've put on the front cover. It is the Who Sell Out. So we have all four members. You have to use both sides. You have all four members of the Who. They're in like little adverts, like they would be in a magazine in the 60s. But those songs appear on the album. So we have a song about baked beans. We have a song about Medak. We have a song about the Odorono. And it's just a really, really smart, fully conceptualized album with its cover. The Who Sell Out, number 17. Number 16. So this is a double entry, really. Neither of these albums would make it in on their own. It is Luke Combs and it's Growing Up and the album Getting Old. Neither is special, but together, as you'll see on the screen, it produces one brilliant image that I think is so clever. So you effectively have a single album and a double album coming together to make one triple combination that is Growing Up and Getting Old. It's, as a concept, really clever and probably the most recent album in this list. Growing Up and Getting Old by Luke Combs at number 16. Number 15, again, there's a lovely little story to read on there as you're listening to the music. Lexicon of Love by ABC. That little paragraph that's in that box there that you kind of pour over as you're listening to the music, it's again really great packaging as a whole. It's Lexicon of Love, number 15. Number 14, picked purely for the absolutely evocative image, Love Over Gold by Dire Straits. I love a good shot of lightning. When somebody captures lightning on film, on a camera, it's just the power that's involved in it. And so, as we have that lightning streak all the way across the front cover of Love Over Gold in that darkened sky, it really does evoke the music. Love Over Gold, number 14. Number 13, we're back with iconic album covers for Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield. The shot of the beach and the sea, and then the bent triangle of the Tubular Bells that had, the story goes that when they were recording it, he hit them so hard he actually damaged these big long hanging tubular bells, and then the idea was that they would bend it, and they produced that triangle. It's a brilliant image. Obviously it then replicated on Tubular Bells 2 and Tubular Bells 3 and the Millennium Bell and Tubular Bells 2003, but you can't beat the original. Tubular Bells at number 13. Number 12 I'm going to skip over because I want to do number 11 first. You'll understand why. Number 11 is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the most iconic of iconic album covers. We have the montage of people, the cutouts, themselves, their wax versions are included. There is models, there is the planted garden, there is the Beatles themselves in those the Beatle uniforms that they're so famous. One of the best album covers of all time. I had to include it because it is such a great album cover. Which leads me back up the ranking to the number 12, which I have placed The Beatles, the White Album. It is one hell of a ballsy move, even a statement, one might say, that after you've done the most iconic of iconic album covers of all time, that the follow-up album is just white with the Beatles embossed on it, and then a number. That is... It is an artistic statement in and of itself. It is basically saying to you, do not expect more of the same. This is a very different experience. This is a very different album. This is a very different selection of music. Incredible just to get all white, but it is a statement because of the number 11, which was Sgt. Pepper's. So we are coming up to the top 10. So before that, I would remind you to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and to like the video by hitting the thumbs up, to hit the bell to receive notifications of future content, and share the video with someone else who might like it. Please also do let me know in comments below what your favourite album covers are. There's a chance that they are coming up in this top 10, but maybe not. Maybe you've got something else that's absolutely dear to your heart. At number 10, I have placed Sing When You're Winning by Robbie Williams. So, this is an incredible piece of artwork. So we are firmly in the CD era at this point, and Robbie Williams seems to be the first artist who designed their artwork for the CD era, and it is all images of him in different roles. So we've got Robbie the Coppers, one of whom is peeing up against the wall. I assume it was digitally done. We've got Robbie as the tickets bib on the front cover. We've got the three of them on the very front cover, holding up the trophy. And as you work your way through the booklet, there are loads of them. And I heard something said that there's well over 100 different Robbies in this artwork, and it's suitable for someone who is such a pop ego. That's what he did, and it's very clever album artwork. Sing When You're Winning by Robbie Williams at number 10. At number 9, David Bowie and Low. This is here because I think there's a really clever little pun in the album because of the artwork. Because if you look at it properly, you will notice that it's a side shot of David Bowie, which we normally refer to as a profile shot, which basically means that the album is low profile. And that's just pun work that pleases me. It helps that it is also in and of itself as an image great. My number 9. Number 8, I have placed The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. And this is a harrowing album cover, but it's brilliantly drawn. I think it was Gerard Way himself that drew the death procession of the patient. That is the front cover of this album. And it is harrowing. It's painful to look at, but it's a great piece of artwork with all of the skeletons dressed up as a marching band and heading down with the patient having lost all of his hair, and then the coil going out from his hand of a red line of the blood drip. It's great artwork. The Black Parade, my number 8. At number 7, designed by Hipgnosis, it's Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Two people handshaking with one of them on fire and the flames eating out of the side of the photograph. Or maybe you've got the two machine hands linked together, shaking hands. It's so full of great imagery. Wish You Were Here, my number 7. And number 6, the highest placed David Bowie album on this list, and it's Aladdin Sane. Just purely for the Aladdin Sane flash on the front of Bowie's face, where he's looking down and his eyes are closed, and you've got that flash across his face. Much mimicked, and again, truly iconic imagery that instantly recognisable. You see that on anybody and you know they're doing Aladdin Sane. I don't like the album particularly, but I do like the cover. Number 6, Aladdin Sane. At number 5, the highest placed Beatle record on here, Abbey Road. Again, the image itself isn't particularly that special, but it has been so aped and parodied and copied, and even to this day, there is a camera on Abbey Road crossing because people recreate that shot all the time. And as a result, it is in of itself a piece of pop culture art. And it happens to be my favourite album of all time, probably. But I do think the artwork has transcended the album itself. It instantly recognisable once again. Abbey Road, number 5. Number 4, Power Slave by Iron Maiden. So if you are looking for something like I was when I talked about Dookie, that is packed with detail, Power Slave has it in spades. This is an amazing piece of art drawn by Derek Riggs. We have Eddie as a dead pharaoh being carried into his tomb. We have the electric lightning hitting the top of the pyramid. There is the procession of Egyptian people carrying him in. And then there's graffiti and hieroglyphs all over the walls, some of which are jokes. And you could stare at this album cover for ages and just revel in the details. It's one of those ones that deserves to be blown up massive size. It's a great piece of artwork, so good that for the first time the name of the band, Iron Maiden and Power Slave, are kind of mutedly small, so that the full grandeur of the artwork can really be enjoyed. And there's jokes on it. There's extra jokes on the front cover, such as the fact that they are taking the coffin of the dead pharaoh Eddie in through a hole in his groin. And it's Power Slave, my number 4. Number 3. Surprised when I ranked that I put it this high, but it is just... It's both a parody cover and also iconic in and of itself. I'm using the word iconic a lot, but it's fair enough. The Clash, London Calling. So first of all, we have it as a parody. It is aping the Elvis Presley album in the way that the writing is written on the side of the record in that L shape. So we have The Clash, London Calling. And then you've got that incredible image taken by a woman called Penny Smith of Paul Simonon smashing his bass into the ground, or about to. It encapsulates the fury and the energy of punk in a grainy, almost out of focus image that has adorned bedroom walls for the last 40 plus years. Brilliant album cover. It's my number 3. Number 2. At one point I thought this was going to be my number 1. It's Somewhere in Time by Iron Maiden. So if I liked the detail in Power Slave, then I loved the detail on Somewhere in Time. You can literally spend hours examining this album cover and spotting more and more clues and tricks that harken back to Iron Maiden's history prior to the release of this album. You've got things like West Ham 7, Arsenal 2, because Steve is a Hammers fan. You've got the clubs that they played at was like the Ruskin Arms, where they played their first gig. It is like a potted Iron Maiden history on the front covers. And then, of course, you've got my favourite incarnation of Eddie. The second ever video I did on this channel was ranking the Studio Eddies. And the Cyborg Eddie, number 1. So my favourite incarnation of Eddie's on this cover. He's just shot someone and there's a grim determination in his face. It's a peerless piece of artwork that has only been beaten into second place by an album cover that is instantly recognisable. The band's name and the album name do not appear on it. Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. I even use references to this album cover in training sessions when I'm talking about line management, because you have the beam of light heading into the prism and then out the other side comes the rainbow of colour. This album cover, it's probably the only album cover that I've ever had up on my wall when I was a student. I had plenty of posters, but I actually had this album cover. I mean, I had one of Stairway to Heaven. It's not an album cover. I had a promo thing from a Paul McCartney album off the ground, but it wasn't the album cover. This is the only album cover I think I've ever put on display on my wall as a poster. It's because it's just perfect. Best way to describe it, Dark Side of the Moon album cover is a perfect album cover. And that's why it's my number one. So that concludes my top 25 album covers all time. Please let me know in comments below what you think about it and what your favourites are. I'll be back soon with another video. We're now into May 2026. The release of Dungeon Lane by Paul McCartney is this month. So I'm going to be doing some Paul McCartney content over the next few weeks, including a week blitz of reimagines. Do look out for that. And if you'd like to know when that stuff's coming up, then make sure you click the bell to get notifications of future content. But it remains to say, just subscribe, like, share the video, and thanks for watching.